Okay, this has been swirling in my head for a while now, and I think it's time to get it out. I feel like journaling is not enough, so I'm gonna record it. Uh, Damn, my room be messy. She gonna fix that. We'll fix that tomorrow. But now that I've started over, now that I am jobless and so happy that I am actually doing what I want to do, which is start my own company and sell things online and work in beauty and create art and just create a life that I know is mine. So so I have to do it. I have to do it myself, and I have to do it with courage, and I have to really commit. And one of the things that I need to do that I have been working on is facing my fears. And a lot of it stems with a lot of it is the fear of being seen. And I've had this fear for a while because I grew up as an only child where I was criticized every single day for doing things that were not what they wanted me to do. And I was like this hyper little artistic kid that would run around and like sing Britney Spears and perform and do all these things. And I just felt like, you know, just be me. But growing up, I wasn't allowed to do that. And if I did act out in any way, it would be punished or it would be dismissed or it would be discouraged, definitely discouraged. It was always like, be serious, be a doctor, be a lawyer. Obviously, that's what you hear every single day. You know, this family's like son is a doctor. Like, okay, thanks, mom. There was the point where I would just lie and say like, yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer. I'll just be a lawyer. I just picked one because it's like one or the other, just to like get them to shut up. But no, I didn't want to do that. I just figured maybe I could do it because I was good at English. I like to talk. But it wasn't something I ever wanted to do. I just wanted to make art for a living, I guess. Find a way to do that. I wanted to go to art school. I wanted to design things. I wanted to be like a fashion designer as a kid. That was a lot of like the Gossip Girl, like everyone worked at like little magazines type of era. And yeah, I'm like, it's like something that looked really fun to me. And I just wanted every day to, I don't know, dress up, have a fun little life. That's my mantra recently. I just want to have a fun little life. And so one of the things that I really wanted to do is face my fear of being seen. And that has that is like manifested in a way where I just really did not like what I looked like in photos. I was scared to look at my image in any way that was not completely controlled by me. And even if it was controlled by me, I would just stare at it so long to the point where like the body dysmorphia was like fucking up my brain. Like you know when you look back at photos and you're like, wow, like I can't believe like I look so good. But like at the time you just were so tunnel vision on your insecurities. But also it was because I felt like shit inside. And so whenever I would look at myself, I would feel like shit. And so yeah, I just never felt like I could be myself because every time I was trying to be myself, I would be punished. And it would always discourage me from, you know, trying to do what I actually wanted to do. So instead, I went the marketing route, which seemed like fun-ish enough to be a serious job where I could make good money. I could, you know, make advertisements, which is like sort of creative in a serious type of business way. And I don't regret it. It was a lot of learning and a lot of fun. And being a project manager really established a lot of good habits, organizational habits, not like here, but like in here. um, but yeah, it really helped me be structured, but to a point where it was too structured. And I'm the kind of person that needs a lot of flexibility. And I was also the person doing and giving people deadlines, which is like very not me. I would hate having to follow up with people and being like, "Hey, did you do this thing? It's due tomorrow." And I loved like working with people though. Like when there would be problems or when it would be like the day before and we are not done yet, I would work with them and be on like a call for like 4 hours, and we would just fix things and go back and forth and figure it out. And we always did, because that's just how I live. Like I always will figure something out. And that's why I trust myself to do whatever. There's no deadline here, but fuck it. You know, I am absolutely confident in that. And that's why I was so good at my job. And if I could just do that, that'd be beautiful. But I was in corporate. And so corporate really sucks the soul out of you. And it's just the structure of control and like the surveillance, like anxiety that you would have. And also during the pandemic, all you did was just like look at yourself in the webcam like all day. So anyway, got sidetracked. It was just very passionate. So one of the things I want to do to face my fear of being seen is to start recording myself and to start taking better pictures of myself and to really wake up every single day and be the best version of myself. And it's scary because I am a person, like my Instagram is blank. I'm trying to be mysterious, but actually I don't know. I get nervous. And it also feels like inauthentic because that was like the past me, which is like nice to look at memories. But when I look at these, I was like, oh, I remember like the state that I was in when I was posting all these things and like editing my body to look like this. Like, so I don't know. I just want to be more real, and I want to actually be like a girl that does things like that. I feel like I have this inner judgment of like girls that go outside and like, I don't know, take pictures by the wall with their friends, but they're like so cute. And then you look at these photos and I just realize like whenever I have that negative emotion, it's like jealousy because I am afraid to do that. You know, I'm afraid of standing there and like having people know that I'm performing a pose for the internet. I don't, yeah, that's it. But that is something that I want to work on. And I want to be able to be more comfortable in front of the camera because every time it's pointed at me, like by someone else, and me like not being able to see it, I like freeze up. You know, when you start getting the awkward pauses and you're just like, you know, trying to be like so cool, like, but it's like the worst photo yet. You see it and you're like, oh my God, is that what I look like? Because it's so inauthentic. And if I were to be like a child, I guess that is something that I really am trying to do is start over like from the very beginning. So if I were starting over and being on social media from the very beginning as like, you know, like a tween, because that's when they try to be online. If I really wanted to do that, I would just like take pictures of everything, put little captions, and like try to be so cool, you know, because that's what I did. I did do that. But I just like felt so embarrassed and ashamed of myself like throughout the years. Like I'm 29, almost 30, and I'm really finally reconciling the consequences of that. Is like I just feel like I have nothing behind me anymore, or it's like very not who I actually was. And so when I look at old photos or things like that I've created, a lot of them was good. A lot of them were good. I know it's not all duds. Like I'm a great person, so I can't like not have some good things. But it was a lot more emotionally charged, I would say. And so I would just get these like really intense emotions when I would look at myself because there was so much internal self-hatred because I was doing all these things that I did not want to do. I had this career. I had to like help my family through really, really hard times. I went through so much mental health struggles. I helped other people go through mental health struggles. It was a lost time. it was a really, really, really sad time. And during this, it was like the pandemic. So it was like there were so many forces working against me at that time. Um, and it took me to a place where it was the lowest I've ever been, you know? Like, you know, when you hit rock bottom, but in comparison, every other, like, roadblock, any other, like, I feel like there's another word for this, obstacle. Every obstacle I faced after that could never compare to the emotional stress that I already did. So in comparison, like, I'm not worried about anything because if I could get through that, like the pit of despair for like 4 years, like it wasn't short. I spent like majority of my mid 20s just in a hole, like in my own brain, like really fighting for my life. Like it was not fun. And then, I know, like my friends have seen it. And I am not that person anymore. I've like grown and I've become so healthy. I'm in incredible health. I work out all the time. I go to yoga. I eat healthy. I'm a granola bitch. You know, like all these like very high standards that I have for myself now, I'm actually meeting them. And everything I do at this point, like I'm proud of. And I've really, really accepted the process of it. Wow, this is really cathartic. I've really accepted the process of it. Even all this mess, this is part of the process. This is how I am, and I am not going to apologize for it anymore. You know, I used to be so ashamed of all of the mess that I would create. I would be a tornado, leaving things around all the time. I would get yelled at for being messy. I would just leave things, forget things around everywhere, you know, ADHD bitches. But I've really just made peace with it. And if anything, now I'm like working with it, which is such a huge leap for me. I'm about to cry. Well, it was such a huge leap for me because that really turned around my self-hatred. A lot of the things that I blamed myself for were like chemical. It was a chemical imbalance, and I was in a system that did not work with me for it, right? I was just working against the system, doing all these like patriarchal expectations, being a model minority, doing all of this just to impress who? My like cousin's neighbor, so that my mom could say that, oh, my daughter did this, she lives in, you know, I can't even think of it because I don't want to be that. And I don't want to be like an item of someone else's pride. You know, I don't want to be tokenized. I'm sure there's another word. It's hard. Talking is hard. Wow, it's gone. This is what happens to me, and you know, it is what it is. But just want to put it out there into the world that I'm trying something new, and this is one of my fears, and this is what I'm doing to face my fears. So, see ya. Thank you for listening.